Hello, hello. My name is Amy Titus. I'm an intuitive and psychic development coach, and this is the June 26th monthly collective energy reading. Now, we're almost halfway through the month, and June already there has been so much energy from the micro to the macro. It's just been really intense. And as I tune in and have been tuning in over the last weeks, the energy has really been of setting up, of protection, of it's almost like of bracing a little bit because of what is to come when it comes to what has been to come, and our desire and our knowingness, our energy's knowingness that it was time to fortify. And I'm talking about specifically at the beginning of the month. There was a lot of energy that felt expansive, but still there was like a bracing aspect to it. Like we're preparing. I get the vision of squirrels preparing for the fall. Like you're gathering your energy, you're getting things together, you're setting things up, you're making sure that your nest is good, because there's this knowingness that winter are on the way, and that you need to be prepared for that. The same thing energetically has been happening collectively around people, just even apart from the craziness that's going on in the world. And I don't say that in a flippant way, but even apart from that, and people anticipating what might happen, or people anticipating, what's to come, there is still a deeper level that supersedes the mental, the logical, and it's on the intuitive level, that it's time to make sure that our foundation is very firm energetically as well. Because regardless of what's going on in the world, but regardless of what's going on economically, we know that we have the power individually to create our reality. So just because something is happening collectively on the planetary level, on the geopolitical level, that doesn't mean that we have to suffer. That does not mean that we have to experience negativity. That does not mean that we have to experience lack or anything like that. And we know that, right? Like that's something that we deeply understand. And this energy was the precursor to that understanding. It's like, yes, we know things are going on. We can prepare energetically, get ourselves ready, shift our point of attraction so that regardless of the chaos going around outside, our internal structure is secure, stable, overflowing, and abundant. And with that energy, right? Like when you dig down into that energy and you embody that energy, the effect is that you have this frequency, this embodiment of understanding that you don't have to control everything, right? Because the basics are taken care of. Understanding that you can surrender and let go and just be along for the ride, knowing that you have all of the tools that you need to face anything that comes. There's this energy of like, F it, you know what I mean? Like not in a negative way, not in a disillusioned way, not in a I'm putting my head in the sand or bypassing way, but just this energy of like, I don't have the desire to control the outcome like I used to, right? It's like this energy of like, I'm okay with waiting to see what happens. It's like that moment when you're on a roller coaster and you're to that top. You could either like clench in fear, or you can say, you know what? I'm just going to unclench. I'm going to even take my hands off of these handles, maybe just a few inches away from the handle so you could grab them if you need to. I'm going to take my hands off of this handle, and I'm just going to let go. And I'm just going to ride, right? And I think that very much was the energy of like the second week in June to where we are now. People are really relaxing into the ride. And so then the question becomes, okay, what is there for me in that? How can I release a little bit more? How can I surrender a little bit more? How can I look at the things that I used to have a death grip on and release and open my hands up and let those things fall away, let those things flow up or float up, whatever direction they're going, but letting things go. And the energetics are really supporting that revelation right now. Because as we continue to move down this road as a country, as a planet, as a people, as a species, it's easy to look at the situation ahead and just be like, you know what, I don't really have a lot of control over what's going on out there, but I have all the control in the world around what's going on inside of me. And this general surrendering, this general letting go, this general looking around and saying, okay, what is there for me that's going to be uplifting, that's going to actually support my greatest and highest good, that's actually going to support my empowerment and my authority. There is so much power in that. And what we're really looking at is energetic sovereignty, right? Choosing your thoughts, choosing your emotions, choosing where your energy goes, and being absolute stewards of that, meaning you are radically responsible for your thoughts, for your emotions, for your actions. And you really look at everything and say, okay, like, is this how I want to feel? Is this what I want to think? Is this what I want to do? If not, there are changes to make. There's work to do. And then on top of that energy, of course, we have the X1 class solar flare that happened, I believe, on June 2nd, I believe it was. And that took a couple of days to hit us. But when it did, so many people reported feeling all kinds of different symptoms, whether it be agitation, anger, confusion, physical symptoms, those being maybe like they just needed to lay down, they were tired, they felt wiped, they had brain fog, all these different things. So like on a planetary level, and that's a solar system level, right? Different energies are affecting our experience here on Earth. And for me, and what I know when it comes to those kinds of solar flares, it tipped us into a timeline shift and a bit of a portal. Okay. So the next days after that, for me personally, and let me know in the comments here what your week was like from the 4th until like the 13th. Let me know what that was like for you, because it takes a few days for the effects of the solar flare obviously to reach Earth, and then for it to integrate there, and then we start having these reactions to it, right? So think about how you felt those days. Think about how your family was feeling, work things, friends things, how you were feeling in general, and let me know in the comments like what that was like for you. And Spirit came in during and after and has since been talking to me around like what that was. And it tipped us into a pretty massive timeline shift for most of us. I would say it was a planetary level timeline shift. And you might notice different things, right? For me, that week was absolutely full of a lot of really chaotic things that caused subtle shifts in my life, right? Things on a friend level, family level. Physically, I got very sick out of nowhere. And I'm still dealing with that integration, right? So it's like now we're in this new paradigm. And just kind of think about that. Take that on and just kind of think about it as like, okay, what has seemingly changed since then? Is it just the way that I feel? Is it my perception? Is it my perspective? Is it just this general feeling or energy that I have around life, around who I am? What is that exactly for me? And see if you can kind of pinpoint any big changes that have happened since that time. Timeline shifts are really amazing, and we can feel them on all different kinds of levels: mental, emotional, physical, spiritual levels. This was the first one for me where I felt it on the physical level, and I saw some weird things that you hear people talking about in the timeline shift conversation, right? Like you hear about things happening that are very kind of bizarre, and nothing like that had ever happened to me before until this time, and I'll explain it to you. I have a hair steamer. Okay. It's a handheld hair steamer. I've got it 8 years ago. And directly after I got it, probably about a year after I got it, I lost one of the pieces to it. Completely lost it. Have not seen it since. Now I've used this steamer. I had the bag. that it came in. Had used it, pulled it out 100 times, right? The week after the solar flare, after the timeline shift. So this was probably about this was the 6th, because it was the day before I got really, really sick. I'm like, okay, I'm like putting stuff away in my bathroom. I open a drawer, and sitting on top of my stuff in a neat little row is this piece that I lost 8 years ago. Now, mind you, since 8 years ago, I have moved multiple times. I've moved like 4 times in that time period. And here this piece was that I have not seen from that date, like a year after I bought it. Okay. I asked my husband, hey, did you put this here? No. I asked my son, he's 4. Hey, did you put this in mommy's drawer? No. This thing came out of nowhere. So I basically jumped timelines, and this thing is in its original package. I don't even think it's been open. I don't think it's been open. And it's just sitting right there. Now, and this is an example. So I shifted timelines to a timeline where I had not lost this thing, and where this thing was very nicely and neatly organized in this drawer that I'm in every single day. Okay? Yeah, I was freaked out. Not really freaked out, but I was just like, And that is an extreme, right? Like that is an extreme manifestation or evidence of a timeline shift. A lot of times it's much more subtle, but it really depends on the frequency shift of the timeline. This timeline shift, I feel like I kind of crash landed into it. There were a lot of changes mentally, emotionally, physically, and just an overall, like I was explaining, an overall just shift in my perspective, a shift in my beingness, a shift in like what's important to me and how I approach my day in my life. So let me know, okay? I talked a lot about me, but let me know if you've experienced any shifts, any changes, okay? In the beginning part of June, especially after, we'll say June 4th. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the reading for the rest of the month. We have about half of the month left, so let's get into it. And let me pull some cards and connect to spirit. Spirit guides, angels, Shoten Zenjin, highest selves, all beings of the light who are here to promote my highest good and happiness and the highest good and happiness of everyone listening. We thank you. We ask you to come into this reading so that everybody can get what they need from this information. And so it is. Okay, wow. So much beautiful energy coming through. So there's a story here, and really what Spirit is coming through. So there is 7 of Cups reversed. What Spirit is coming through right now and saying is that there's an energy of that you might feel right now of, yes, there's an underlying calmness, but even underlying that, it's like an energy of not knowing what to do. An energy of a little bit of understanding that something needs to shift, understanding that things are changing, that things are moving, that you might need to do something, but you're not really quite clear on what that is. Spirit is coming through and saying, don't worry about it. Don't feel like you lean into the instability, lean into that feeling of like, oh, I don't know what's coming. I don't know what's next. Kind of like that roller coaster analogy we were talking about. Continue to use that energy. If you feel like you're, okay, I need to do something. I need to change something. I need to add something, but I'm not sure what it is. Wait, take a pause, wait for the clarity to come. This energy for the rest of the month is about stripping down, not adding on. Stripping down the things that are busy work, that are adding to your load, that are adding a lack of clarity, that are adding I'm getting the energy of just you're doing things to do things, but they're not necessarily moving the needle. They're not necessarily more important than your rest, your rehabilitation, your just getting yourself together mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. So they're saying like, use this time to deconstruct your life of everything that is just busy work, that's add-on, that's the shoulds. Well, I should do this, I should do that. No, they're saying this is not the time for that, and you need to really systematically go through and release those things. And what you're doing in that is that you're clearing your energy field. You're clearing your mental field, especially. And there is an energy coming through. This is the Seven of Swords reversed, right? And really, what is coming through with this is that there is something coming that's going to require you to really have a good set point, like really be on your P's and Q's and really just be aware and be conscious. It's an energy of something coming that's going to be shown on the media, from the government, something like that, where it's like it's going to really separate the population into being scared, despair, feeling powerless. And the other part of the population is going to be in their authority, empowered, in their clarity, grounded, knowing that they are in control and they're not going to get swept up into the chaos of the frenzy. And of course, I never say any of this to be fear mongering or anything like that. This is the energy that I'm reading for the next 2 weeks. And another thing that's coming through is be mindful. Be very mindful, very discerning, very picky about where you're placing your energy, what you're watching, okay? What you're allowing in. If that means you need a social media break, if that means you need a TV break, if that means you need a break from talking to people who usually kind of spin out on the world, global events. We're going back to that energetic stewardship thing. Your energy, your energetic offering is 1000% your responsibility. And the clearer your vibration, the higher your frequency, the more grounded you are, the more open your channel is, the better that you can operate in the world, period. From a different vantage point where you have more clarity, more understanding, more access to actual truth. And so getting there, getting as close to that as you possibly can is 100% your responsibility. And we have to do that by the choices that we make. So the overall message is, regardless of what you see coming across your screens, understand that you have authority in your life, okay? Regardless of what's coming down the pike in these next couple of weeks. And I'm not saying like catastrophe, but there is a level of it's going to get ramped up. The volume on the chaos is going to get ramped up, and you're going to get to choose whether you're going to buy into that or whether you're going to lean into truth, which is that you are an abundant being. You have everything that you need. You have everything that you will need. There is no shortage of anything, and you have access to everything that you want and need at some level. But you have to stay in that resonance of higher vibrational truth and groundedness. And then I love that the final card is the King of Wands, right? So that's just like the summation of everything I just said, where it's like you are in your leadership. At the end of this, if you, depending on which you choose, which I know that you're going to choose to stay in your authority and autonomy, you have everything that you need. You're in that position of leadership. You understand the big picture and you're taking control of your future, right? Of July. July's energy is going to be way different as well. But it's like this last final energy in June is really kicking us into that crossroads that I was talking about. There's one group of people and there's another group of people. And of course, nothing is that simple. There's a nuance to everything. And we can even bot back and forth between the two groups. But there's a line in the sand and two different directions as to how you're going to move forward. And I'm getting for the next couple of months. It's almost like we're choosing what path we're going to go on for the next couple of months as the energy integrates out. So the question is, what will you choose for yourself? This is a perfect opportunity. And we also are about to have the new moon. So it's like, what is your intention for these next 3 months? 90 days. How do you want your summer to go? Is it a hot girl summer? Like, how do you want your summer? Is it a high vibe summer? How do you want it to go for yourself? What does that look like? And what do you need on a personal level to make that happen? Do you need more rest? Do you need less obligation? Do you need more finance, more money? Do you need more creativity? What is it that you need? Write that out and set that as your intention to start giving yourself systematically, especially over the next 2 weeks. Okay, so that's a reading for the tarot. I'm going to come into one of my other favorite decks, Gateway of Light Activation, and see if there's anything multidimensionally that wants to come through. Ooh, love this, guys. All right, so I got the Stargate heart, and this is about your heart chakra opening. And in the context of this, Spirit is coming through and saying, like, even though things are ramping up, things might seem chaotic, they might seem crazy, do not shut down your heart. Do not shut down your heart for yourself, for others, for source. Keep that open, because that's going to be a guiding light for you as you navigate this time, to make sure that you're in expansion and not contraction. Sometimes we accidentally shut down our heart to protect it as crazy things are going on around here, on the planet. And here's another thing that's coming through super strong, and we talked about this. When you're scrolling, right, and you're depending on what your algorithm is, sometimes we get in the habit of scrolling and we don't understand what each scroll is doing to our energetic offering, whether it's expanding it, contracting it, and like depending on what's coming through your screen, if you see something that you agree with, that you don't agree with, that is maybe shocking to you, that's not. And so when we're in that state, we have a different brainwave, obviously, but also our electromagnetic signature, our energetic signature is shifting very rapidly, and that can cause instability in the field, and sometimes in our field, our personal field. And so sometimes when we get in that mode and we're in a period of time where we're scrolling a lot or we're whatever, it creates this like subtle instability, right? And Spirit is coming through and just using this as an example, because it's like anywhere in your life where you are doing something that's causing instability, whether that be scrolling or talking to people that maybe are discordant from you, whatever it is, right? They're saying now is the time for the next 2 weeks to tone that down, to let that go, to step away from that. Maybe not forever, but to take a break, to give your system a chance to stabilize. Because again, we're all still integrating that massive solar flare, that massive timeline shift that acted like a portal and dropped us off into this new reality that we're trying to acclimate to. And we're still finding our feet a little bit. And so really protecting yourself, protecting your heart, feeding your heart what it needs, whether that be alone time. I almost said family time first, but whether your heart needs alone time, whether it needs family time, friend time, new adventures, whatever it may be, tune into that heart and listen to what it wants for its expansion. And then right on the heels of that is the Sirius star blessing, which is yes, proceed, be seen, push through. So what this is saying is that what you want, the deepest desires of your heart, it's a yes. Go for it. The universe is conspiring to give you what it is that you're wanting when it comes to the thing that's going to make your heart soar and your heart sing. And a lot of times people don't know what that is. And that's your sign, that's your clue to sit down and take time with yourself, take time with that heart chakra, and really discern, really read what it is that your heart wants for yourself at this juncture, as we prepare for as we go into the next 2 weeks, we prepare for July. Okay. And there's just an energy even with everything that we've been talking about, there is an absolute energy of positivity, abundance, and just excitement during this time. It almost feels like when you're getting ready to go on a big trip, like you're going on a trip that you've been wanting to go on for your entire life, and you're leaving in 2 weeks and you're getting your stuff ready for that. That's the energy that I feel. This excitement, this yes, this abundance, but this is the preparatory period. Like say that we were traveling to a different continent, like across the world, we'll say. That week, those 2 weeks before, we're going to rest. We're going to get our stuff together. We're going to make sure that we have what we need. We're going to take care of all the little things that need to be taken care of. But again, the most important thing, energetically, we're going to make sure that we are setting ourselves up to have an amazing experience, an amazing trip, right? And resting and just clearing out anything that does not that is not serving us. We're not going to be filling our plate with little tiny tasks that don't really matter, that are insignificant to the goal of going on this trip. We're going to be clearing all of that out. And that's really what Spirit's asking us to do. And then the final card from this deck is, oh my goodness, Shambhala Initiations. It's literally about retreating to recharge and trusting in the process. So literally making sure that we are giving ourselves space to recharge, that we are investing in peace, not chaos, and that we are surrendering, continue to surrendering that energy. Remember what I was talking about at the beginning of this reading, where it's like a lot of us are just like, okay, whatever, F it. Like, not from disillusion, not from, anything around just not caring, but that beautiful release of, let's see how this goes. I don't feel the need to control, right? The outside, what's happening out there. I'm going to focus internally on what's going on and just just trusting that process. And even, sometimes I'm a Capricorn rising. So I understand that sometimes when I'm like, okay, I need to focus on myself. I need to get myself together. I need to shed these things. Sometimes that can just be a little overbearing, right? And that's not really trusting the process. Like, yes, we have intentions. We take aligned actions, but we don't want to, again, white knuckle even our own healing process, even our own regulation process. We want to bring that, yes, I have an intention, I take aligned action, but the result, the thing that happens, how this all unfolds, I'm giving that up. I'm surrendering that. All right, so that is the reading for June 2026 for the collective energy. Let me know how this resonated with you. Let me know if anything struck a chord, any things that have been coming up for you so far in June. And if this is after June, let me know how this ended up resonating for you as a whole. Thank you so much for being here. Again, my name is Amy Titus. I'm an intuitive and psychic development coach, and I help people to develop their intuitive and psychic gifts to really embrace their multidimensionality, which means that you really, really lean into the fact that you're a multidimensional being, that it's not just physical, and that there is a whole aspect of you that, when nurtured, can help you navigate your life from a place of more understanding, more clarity, more calm, more focus. And that when we do that, the quality of our life elevates tenfold. And then I also help people to step into their rightful place as their own spiritual authority, meaning that there is no one, no coach, no teacher, no guru, no religious figure that has a stronger connection to source energy, to source God than you. And you have direct access to infinite intelligence, divine love, divine compassion. And that's all right here available for you to connect into at any moment. Thank you again. All right. Thank you again for being here with me over these 30 minutes. Like I said, leave any comments that you have for me, any questions, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and an absolutely divine rest of your month. And I'll talk to you again in July. Bye-bye.